All right, so let's talk about Drake on this label conversation. So we know that he's still, as an individual artist, signed to Cash Money, but his label, OVO Sound, is signed with Warner Brothers. They just re-upped their deal. He has a lot of dope artists like Division, Party Next Door with projects coming up. What do you think this means for Drake's just business in general?
I defer to Ak for all of my Drake information.
Well, first of all, let's not act like this nigga's not a Drake stan on the low, too, right? Yo,
I am, by the way. I don't think it's high key. It's not on the low.
Okay, good. So Drake just re-upped with Warner Music Group with OVO Sound. That's his label. First of all, it was always interesting to me that he saw what the fuck was going on in Cash Money, and he says, "I don't want a YMCMB Part 2.
Right.
I don't want a Young Money Part 2. I want my own label over somewhere disconnected from Birdman in this whole system." I still think it's
Warner
interesting.
Brothers is Universal, by the way.
Warner Brothers, I thought it was two different things, no?
I don't think so. Warner Brothers under Universal. Everything's under
But
Universal.
yeah, but there are like buckets under Universal.
Okay.
So Cash Money's under them too.
Okay, but still, it's separated from what Cash Money is.
I don't know that.
OVO is not
But
separate
you
from
basically, you're saying that he learned his lesson from what he
Yeah,
saw Wayne go through on Cash Money.
If you would normally see how an artist establishes an imprint, right? If you're in a system, right, you kind of bring it underneath. You already have systems set in place. If it did you right, you would imagine you would do your artist right? And you could get money that way. If you say, let me look opposite, right? And I'm going to the furthest place, or I'm just going to some place that's unfamiliar, something probably told me, or is telling me that he's seen what's going on in Cash Money and like, this ain't the way for me. Now, regardless of that, he's still signed to Cash Money. He's still under Young Money. While Wayne complains, I ain't never really hear Drake complain outside of mentioning certain vague things on records. So he might be very well compensated. Maybe his business is right. Maybe Wayne's the only one fucked up.
I have a question for you.
What's the question?
Okay. If his business is right, that must mean, would that mean he's in good standing with Birdman?
I think he is. I think he's in good standing with Birdman.
How do you feel about that?
I don't feel any type of way. I mean, they're doing
Why?
business. Wait, why would I feel?
I guess because of
Well, I'm
his
asking-
relationship with Wayne, right?
That's the part that.
But think about Nicki.
That's the part where it gets tricky for me. She's included. She's included. Wayne, they both are extremely grateful for everything Wayne has done. They both are on record publicly saying that every chance they get, maybe not so much recently, but they started their careers that way. Yeah. Wayne is in very public contract disputes. They haven't seemed so tight since. That is disturbing to me. But again,
Drake and Wayne or Drake and Birdman?
Drake and Nicki haven't seemed to be by Wayne's side the way that he was by their side when I was being introduced to them.
True.
That's disturbing to me as an artist. I don't know their business. I don't know anything at all.
Do you think they're trying to stay out of it?
They could be the best of friends. But Nicki Minaj and Drake are superstars. Wayne is a megastar. I would think that some support would just be nice. Publicly, I'm talking about publicly. I'm not talking about private. I don't know what is happening behind closed doors. Right. But the same public support that Wayne gave, I feel a way that it's not reciprocated. Of course, that's none of my business, but I'm an artist, and every time I see Wayne, I love Wayne, so that's how I feel. I love Drake, so that bothers me too. Nicki, I don't really care about, but that's bothersome to me. Right. I would think that's bothersome to people. That's why I asked you how you feel.
Well, the way how I look at it is that since I haven't heard any gripes from Wayne, and I never heard Nicki came on the record like, yeah, Birdman robbed me.
But we haven't heard any information from anybody. That's why, for me, this is a difficult topic to discuss. Because for years, you have information. Give me.
So, no. What I'm saying is that because I haven't heard them complain, I'm guessing it's all good. And that might be naive.
That's a big assumption, though.
But
just for the record, publicly, Nicki and Drake have been very careful to walk the line where they're saying that they still love and support Wayne, but that they also owe a lot to Birdman. But we don't know what happens behind the scenes.
Exactly. So put like this, place. If Birdman did them right? And we've been speculating for albums. Yo, Drake dropped If Your Arenas Is Too Late just to get off of Cash Money. 2 albums later, he's still there. Right?
But do you think so another question for you. Do you think he signed one deal and it was a fair deal and he's been there the whole time, or did his contract expire and he re-upped a deal
Listen,
that was
he's dropped
better?
so many fucking projects and like even one with Future. Listen, he had to renegotiate at some point. I think there was a very well rumored.
Who was he renegotiating with?
I'm guessing
Young
Cash
Money or Cash Money?
Do you think
Cash Money is the father imprint there. I'm sure all of Young Money. Oh, I'm not sure, but I would assume all of Young Money's business runs through Cash Money,
so
which is why the business is bad. So if he had to deal with Young Money and Cash Money,
it would mean he would be renegotiating essentially with Birdman.
but Drake is great. So this question for me is not really about Drake,
okay,
because I like Drake's artists. I love Party Next Door. I love Division.
Yo,
Them
they had
two
one of the
niggas
best
right there.
projects of 2016,
Listen,
by
if
the way.
Drake
Division.
somehow could have finagled that Weekend situation a little too better and kept him over there.
no, don't say
Party, Division,
Don't
and
say
Weekend. No, I'm not saying it would have been better for the Weekend, but I'm just saying the scope of music.
that. The Sweatshop, bro. Like I'm glad Weeknd did his own thing.
I'm not saying it would have behooved the Weeknd. I'm just talking about music. I'm always on the side of music. So I'm saying, forget about Drake and his #1 status. The Weeknd, Division, and Party, nice lineup. It's a nice lineup.
Now,
I haven't gotten Majid Jordan, who I like. If their EP was, if their album was as good as their EP, more people would like him. Roy Woods, I'm not very familiar with. McConan kept talking about Tuesdays. I knew he was getting fucked on a Wednesday.
Okay.
I knew he was getting fucked on a Wednesday.
By who?
Drake.
Oh, okay. Listen, all right. Speaking about McConan,
P.
right?
Rain, Drake keep trying to sneak on songs. I don't want to hear it.
You're not feeling
Okay.
P-Rain?
So I want to know. So my question is, with this imprint, and not to say I'm not feeling them. I don't know enough about them. So on this imprint, whose album is coming out? Because that's the knock on OVO. The knock on OVO is, y'all ain't gonna put nobody out, man, and y'all not gonna do shit for nobody but Drake. Y'all
But I
gonna
think
take
the
the
ones
hottest
coming
songs.
up are Party, Magic Jordan, and Division, I believe, are the ones.
Hey, listen.
Stuff coming out soon.
Well, even reading this like press release, it came out through Variety.
I
and-
know Majid Jordan
and-
wasn't
and-
happy they last
Yo,
release.
everything was very vague, but also it reminds me back to an article I was reading, well-written article. I forgot who wrote it. I want to salute the writer, even though I'm not a journalist. But
You're not a DJ either.
you're right. Okay, fine. I'll
You
give
might
that
as well
to
be journalist academics.
Okay, no, but what I'm saying is really OVO like just Drake's personal hit factory? Like, is it really a label? Because back to McConan, after surviving the sweatshops and fucking taking off the shackles, he said, listen,
He survived?
I guess he survived.
Oh, I thought
He's speaking.
I thought I went to the funeral.
Okay, anyway, he said he couldn't get shit from OVO. And when you go to your label and he says, I asked him for promotion, Drake wouldn't even send a tweet. I'm like, what? Rose supports, and not to jump to MMG, but he supports his artists to the max. You tell me your boss can't even tweet out your mixtape or whatever thing you just dropped? He's like, he asked for production, no production. Basically, they want to give him shit. So again, is OVO set up for people?
Can I play devil's advocate and defend OVO for 2 seconds? I hate to do it, but I will.
Sure, go for
You
it.
want to do it? Go ahead.
If McConan had this song that was popping in Atlanta already, much like Migos had this song that was popping in Atlanta already, much like Fetty had a song that was popping in New Jersey already. It's like, well, he was kind of popping, but what was the first song I started with? If McConan had this song that was already popping in Atlanta, and Drake thought his influence could take it to the next stratosphere and didn't hear anything else from McConan, because McConan put out 2 other singles that just was real trash. Real trash. They went nowhere fast. What should Drake be investing in him? I could have told McConan that, hey, after your little Tuesday run, homeboy.
So why sign him?
Because we want the song. We're
So
taking
you signed
that.
him for the song?
Yes, that's the nature of the music
Yeah, but
business.
Drake
Do
has
you have a
jumped
hot
up-
song that you made in your basement somewhere? Me, the corporation, I'm going to take it. Have you ever seen Shark Tank?
No. I have. However, Drake has jumped on many people's song, and they've even testified what usually happens is Drake jumps on your song, but for the remix, which he does a remix, for that to be cleared, he owns the song basically. So you guys
Yeah.
sign over. Okay, so why not do that rather than sign a guy to think now you care about his career? Right? And I'm not defending McConan because
that
I'm
face
not
that's
that
in?
hot on
That's a
McConan.
valid
Wait,
question.
are you telling me, and I got baggage, are you telling me that you think artists think that labels care about their career?
Young
Yes,
artists
nigga.
probably
Like,
do.
if I signed to you, I would expect that, okay, you saw that one song as what I could do when it works. Now you will help me to make sure.
Who the fuck was buying a McConan album?
All right, look. Come on, Joe. At this point
I'm
in your
at-
career,
y'all was
you're
hype on
jaded.
Tuesday.
But think about a young artist just breaking through. Of course, they're
So what's the
excited.
point
They
of
think the
signing?
label's gonna care, especially when someone like Drake comes
Because
through.
most young people, myself included, when I was that age, our business isn't in order. That's why I'm in this chair to say these things. Their business is not in order. I wish there was a me when I was that. I wish somebody could have said, outside of Q-Tip saying industry rule number 4080, record company people are shady, if there was someone else that could have just spoke to the nuances that go on behind the scenes and I would have been armed with more information, I may have made some different decisions. That's me. So this plagues a lot of young acts. And unfortunately, artists don't relay the information because this is a crab in a bucket type of business and we all got to get to the top. I can't give you information to help you get there.
Right.
I could have told McConan every single thing that is happening to him was going to happen to him at least 4 years before it happened.
Well, you're a veteran, and when you're someone who I believe at the time he was on house arrest in a very fucked up state, not only just physically but even mentally as well, because he was on house arrest for supposedly accidentally like shooting somebody, right? Which was his friend. So with all of that, and then the biggest artist looks at you, brings you out to his fucking mansion. Now you're fucking hypnotized by all the glitz and the glamour, and now you're seeing, wow, I am on the road to success. Why? Like, what for you who's a veteran? I want you to put yourself in that position.
I will.
As that young of an artist, like, how do you say, oh, I know where this is gonna go. You're gonna fucking just take my song and toss me to the side, especially.
Well, I look at it this way. You have two types of acts. You have the act that lucks up on a record, i.e. a McConan. And I don't know that he lucked up on a record, but he had a record. You have an artist that will luck up on a hit, and then you have one who believes it's come and go. Take it, here, sell it, publishing. I do this in my sleep. Two different types of acts. I would like to think that Bryson Tiller probably feels he's the latter. I could assume that because he turned down an OVO deal from Drake. That tells me he believes in his ability, his talent, his skill set, his team.
Or
he had people who were actually looking out for his best interests.
Or he's seen The Weeknd and he looks at Party Next Door and he says, who do I want to be?
I'm not mad at being Party Next Door. Party Next Door
is amazingly talented, but I think he's making the point that we're waiting for him to skyrocket as he deserves.
Oh, he hasn't skyrocketed? Maybe not as an artist.
He's not as big as I think he can
I've seen
and
The
should.
Maybe not
Weeknd
as an
perform in
artist.
Buenos
Let me tell you something.
Aires or something, like somewhere in South
He's an
America.
international pop star right now. Party hasn't hit that, but he has the talent for it. He's a star.
Party's pen is probably, I agree with you, it's probably more valuable today than his artistry, than him as an act himself, much like probably Neo when he came in the game. But I love Sex With Me, Shining, all the shit that Party is writing is my favorite song.
So essentially, you're naming all the
I
songs
hate
he's
Party.
writing for other people.
Well, I think Party's album was trash.
Really, people?
I don't like 3. I'm only judging him from his previous work.
Okay.
P1 and P2. P2 is so amazing. You can't give me P3 after P2. I'm that guy. Yeah, I'm that guy. Sorry. But there was some good songs on there. My point is, I think Party's pen, I think his pen and his talent level is much higher than what he has produced for himself. I won't pretend to know why.
Okay, so are you saying he's just giving away his hits to other people? Had he kept those songs?
Is Party's album coming out on
It's not listed there. Why
on
don't I
here?
know you?
Because let me tell you something. If Party's album
It got
is not the
nominated
one
for a
that's
Grammy.
coming out on Warner, then why do we even give a fuck about this?
No, it is. His last time
Drake
came
got to
over
get
OVO.
some more acts that we give a fuck about and let them keep their music.
Well, I'm not sure if OVO is developing talent. That's the only thing. I don't think I don't think they're taking
Ask P.
talent
Rain
and
if
making
they're
them
developing
star.
talent.
P. Rain.
Ask Mike Zombie if they're developing talent. Ask the guy that they beat up that he shouted out in the Hotline Bling record if they're developing. I don't know. What's that kid's name? What's the name with the dance move?
Oh, Moji with dance moves.
How you shout a nigga out and beat him up? That's fucked up.
Last time I heard, he was a Zumba instructor at the
No, it's
OVO
funny because we
sweatshop.
wouldn't even care that Moji got beat up if you ain't shout him out. We wouldn't even know who Moji was. How you shout a nigga out and beat him up?
I'm not gonna lie though, publicly, it appears that OVO got like a little death row type mentality.
What?
This is alleged.
That's
Again, I don't know,
a
it's alleged.
very bold statement.
What I mean is Detail supposedly worked on a track with Drake after they told him like, yo, you got to sign to us as a producer.
We like
he
to
turned
talk,
down.
We like to talk
And
about
then
Drake
allegedly,
On slow
He got
these
beat up.
days.
That's what I'm saying. That's his final lawsuit. These are public things.
We love talking about
He
Drake.
said death row. All right. So Drake's business is obviously doing well. We'll see how things work out with OVO Sound and his artists. We're looking out for Party, Division, everyone. So now Drake is facing rumors. A former porn star says that he got her pregnant and he's denying it. And I feel disgusting even talking about this, honestly.
Nadeska hates anything that has to do with penetration.
Yo,
Very specific way to explain
man,
that.
I gotta get this nigga.
I'm gonna get it clear. I'm sorry. I take it back. I take it back.
Yo, this is you giving the evidence. You self-snitching. Anyway, yo, this is the second thought in about
Did you just say self-snitching?
self-snitching. What's the problem? You're snitching
Yo,
on
you
yourself.
new niggas just create terms.
That's the new way of
You
snitching.
carry
Niggas
on.
snitch on themselves.
Carry on.
Anyway,
You were saying.
these days, Drake used to like. I remember like years back there was
Wear
like
condoms.
Well, I don't know what the fuck he's wearing on his penis. Okay,
Oh
I don't want
my
to
God.
assume. However, years before, it seems like Drake had like he was real careful with women. Now we're seeing this is the second thought in 2 months that's come out and say, listen, he got me pregnant. And the funny part about it, she even mapped it down to a date. She said, he either got me pregnant the 20th or the 21st. And then interestingly enough, Drake got a song where he's talking about the 21st. He got a song called Sacrifices. Wrote this shit January 21st. Baby girl, I had to run.
Hey.
So I'm looking at this shit like,
He got all
Drake,
the
you're
details.
self-snitching.
Wait, hold
He
up.
got all the
Wait.
details right now.
Drake, you're
this shit.
self.
Let's go.
January
January
21st. She claims it's the 20th or the 21st. She got
Baby
pregnant.
girl.
That's the baby girl.
This just got way more interesting.
Drake be rapping about
I
real
didn't know it
shit.
was a date. Hey, hold
Drake-
it back. You might have broke something.
Drake be rapping about real shit. He don't be rapping about fictional shit. So, shit, I be using that in court if I'm her.
So that's a love song. So this baby was conceived from love.
Hey, sacrifices. You gotta sacrifice.
Yo, sometimes you be on point. The rest of the times I be wanting to snuff you. That's a great, listen, I don't want to spend too much time on Drake because we both are Drake stans.
Speak for yourself. Hold up, man. Don't get my
You're
interview.
definitely-
I don't know.
Stop it. I got the video evidence to prove
He's-
you be
man, he's a-
in here
he is staying
singing
for a lot
more
of people.
life in the morning. Just relax.
I like Blem.
Relax.
I like y'all.
You are blamed. Listen, this young lady, of course we're skeptical about this information because Drake is a superstar, and when you're a superstar, this is what women do. They try to trap you. I don't believe the last girl. I don't believe that girl. It seemed like she just wants some attention.
Anyone who goes to social media first,
I very vaguely and loosely know this female.
Stop it. You do?
Yeah, she's at a pool party. June 17th.
she gonna be there?
No. I had inviting Drake's baby moms to my pool party. Are you fucking kidding me? So if he can come
Did you
line me up?
smash her or not? And by the way, Sin is watching.
Of
Did
course,
you?
Of course not. Don't be silly. Don't be silly. I'm not that. I'm stick my dick in everything. But this girl. Back to this girl. I don't know her to be a porn star. She seems to have her ducks in a row. She's already got her lawyers. I'm sure that she has some evidence just because of how this was framed by OVO. I've never seen it framed that way, where they're saying, we don't believe she's pregnant, and we don't believe this is Drake's child, but if it is, Drake will do the right thing. Now, I don't even care about that. More will be revealed as it comes to that. We don't know. We don't have any facts. My new question to you is, if it is his baby, does it impact his image at all?
Yes, it does.
Because I feel like Drake is one of the people that have been immune to anything
he's
affecting his image.
L-proof. I've been saying this for a while. Like,
Is this gonna impact his image? Because we gotta move
it
on.
will more than anything else, just because it'll finally have somebody else, which is the baby mama, who could always yap to the media about some real shit going on.
Rosie got
and
fat
they're
ass.
very emotional.
Why you just won't put a condom on when you got $100 million dick?